So
Man,
talk
just
to
that.
me. Talk to me about your feelings about what's going on with TikTok and this ban.
So anyone that's been connected with me the last couple of years, man, I support the band, man. I mean, I know that's not the popular opinion, but
Okay.
in some of my previous content that I made, um, I'm a cybersecurity guy, number one. Number two, I'm a cybersecurity guy that did cybersecurity within the Department of Defense. So, one of my first cybersecurity incidents that I had to respond to, guess who was involved?
It wasn't TikTok, bro. It wasn't TikTok.
It wasn't TikTok, but it was China.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so nah, man. I mean, anyone that's worked cybersecurity with the U.S. government, we know that China is like that frenemy. It's like more, not even just a frenemy. It's like that crazy chick that you just can't help but to go back to. Like, I know she crazy, but it's so good I can't help going back to her. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay. Well, let me play alternative advocate because me
uh huh,
personally, I run two TikTok channels, right?
yeah, yeah.
And one is a store, and the other one is for content creation. Both has been very lucrative, and that's one of the reasons why I'm glad we were able to get on and talk about it because I see. I trust you, me. I've had my experience with TikTok, and bad actors as well. You know what I'm saying? But you can't just throw away the baby with the baby water, or what's what? Can't throw away the
I
baby
know,
with the bath water.
with
You
the
know what I mean?
bathwater. There you go. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So, and I get where you have a bit more experience in the field of technology, in the field of cybersecurity, right?
Hmm.
But the people on TikTok in the US, it's mainly in the US, they on there for either three things: way of escape, connection, or to get paid. And let's be honest, if the government shut down TikTok or ban it, right, and then have somebody else buy it, you're gonna have a revolt of young people, and then that's where you're gonna have this. I said it on my TikTok the other day. You're gonna have this. There's not gonna be a middle where there's a common ground. There's gonna be a young generation and a generation that's gonna be like, okay, we don't care, because that's how the vote was. Think about it.
Yeah.
The vote was like a real big gap, and you said it on one of your posts. They're not calling in about the Gaza Strip. They're not even calling in about AI, but they called in about
That one
TikTok.
thing, TikTok.
You know what I'm saying? But there's over 100,000 creators on TikTok that is making a living right now. That
Yeah.
prior to that living that they were making, some of them working at McDonald's 9 to 5. Some of them
Mhm.
working at a Taco Bell. Some of them couldn't even get a job because they didn't have the skill set to compete in the environment that the United States has. So you
Yeah.
also got to look at the fact that if you take away these opportunities, you're going to have a massive uproar. Because if a
Yeah.
person, especially a person whose brain isn't fully developed, usually a brain's fully developed at 24, 25, right? And have a sense of maturity to reason and know things. There's kids on there 18 and 19 making millions of dollars.
Making
And
money.
you
Yeah.
taking that opportunity away from them, oh, they gonna get pissed. They
Yeah.
gonna get
Yeah.
pissed. And you gotta look at it like this. It's like the people, and now just recently this morning, Steve, I think it's Steve Munich. I'm not sure his name, but he's Donald Trump's ex treasurer. He wants to get
Yeah.
together with a bunch of people and buy it. What does he
Okay.
is he even on TikTok? You feel what I'm saying? It's like
Well,
somebody who doesn't have any knowledge want to control something. That's not fair. That's not fair. That's like me coming into your house and trying to raise your child. That's not fair.
I feel you. I feel you. Couple of, so we got to unpack this, right? So,
Let's unpack it. That's
I
why we
know,
here,
I
baby.
know, I know my friends from the cybersecurity community and the intel community, right? So I see the responses on LinkedIn and stuff because that's who I really talk to the Intel cybersecurity community with, and they back me up. Um, so there's a concept of psychological warfare, right? Um, so and my boy Dunham, Team Dunham, just hit us. Another cybersecurity guy right there. We used to be doing vulnerability management together back in the day. So, and he just brought up a good question: is where's the data located? That's the issue, right? That's the
Okay.
main issue. And to add to that issue, I'm gonna also say the algorithm. I'm gonna say the algorithm is the issue too. Like it's a known fact, right, that the algorithm here in the U.S. is pushing just entertainment, right? Like I'm guilty of looking at the big bank challenge, right? I mean
Right.
that in the simple dimple, not on TikTok, 'cause I don't use TikTok, but when they put those stuff on YouTube, I can't help but to watch the big bank challenge, right? But that's all that the algorithm is showing here to our youth, right? Meanwhile, back in China, they only showing them educational stuff, right? Developing their brains, like you said, the people on it, their brains aren't fully developed. So they're making sure their young adults and young people are developing their brains, preparing them for taking the realms, if you will, right? Or taking the helm, right? So they can
Yeah.
lead their nation while our kids are getting dumb. You know what I mean? I'm just keeping it 100. Our kids are getting dumb. Their kids are getting smart. Psychological warfare. Let me control what my adversary, their kids and their youth are watching, so they're not even ready. So that when we prepare our youth to get ready for the takeover, they'll just run right over our youth. That's what I see, right? And a lot of the intel people that I talk to, that's the concern, right? So yeah, data is one thing, which that's a whole different threat, right? As far as how they can use that data against us, and we're just giving them the and the stuff that I said back in the past is like back in the day to get intel and data, the adversary used to have to work for it. Right now, everybody's with their phone. We just giving it to them. Like, hey, you want to know the location of all these sensitive, high strategic areas? Let me show you on my phone. I'm gonna show you everywhere you need to target, and they could triangulate all the data and be like, boom, that's the critical infrastructure we need to hit. It's right there. Why? Because we gave it to them. So two different things I'm looking at, right? Long term, to where I got teenagers and kids at the crib. They don't care about none of them threats. They hear me talk about it every day, and they're like, "That's cool, pops, but I want my TikTok." So I'm like, "So you don't even care that when it's time for you to take over and run this country, you're pretty much going to be behind the education and knowledge curve and skills curve that the Chinese kids will have, and they just gonna come over and just take it from you." You know what I mean? Like that. That's the
Well,
concern we have.
I get that. I get that. But then there's also the sense of parental responsibility come into play, right?
Mhm.
Parental responsibility. Let me go ahead and because team, saying Team Dunham, your boy Dunham, he said IT companies that are owned and operating in the U.S., such as Meta, Alphabet, which is Google, X, which is formerly known as Twitter, they are under
Mhm.
legal control that TikTok doesn't have to adhere to. Now, I understand that, and I respect what he's saying because you're right. You have to, if you're going to play in our field, you have to play by our rules. I get
Play
that.
by the rules,
I
man.
get that. However, my thing is not don't just ban the whole thing, right? There's levels where you can just be like, okay, well, in order for us to be able to use TikTok here in the US, they have to be a which they already have. They have a headquarters here. It's down
And they
not
do.
too it's in Culver City, right?
I did not know
But
that.
also, yeah, it's in Culver City. It's right there off of Slauson and Sepulveda. I'm very familiar with the area. But I look at it like this as well. When you give the government enough power to silence a generation, because that's what you're doing. Am I right? You shut down TikTok, you're silencing a generation.
I
What do
get
you
what you're
think they're
saying.
going to do next? I mean, what do you think they're going to think about it? What are they going to? Okay, they already took it upon us that there's certain things that, and you just explained it as well. That what is it, the bang? What did you say? The the what thing that
The
popped
Big
up on
Bang
the
Challenge.
the Big Bang challenge? I don't know what that is.
I was on that. I was on that. Hey, I'm gonna tell you. And I'll just keep it real. It was the one when the girls would be like, "I gotta
Okay,
pretty
that's
face,
enough.
small
I don't even
face
want
in the
to know. I don't want to know that. I don't want to know.
Hey,
I got
I was on it. I just
okay. I get that, but here's the thing. Algorithms are factored in by what you see and what you give out. We
hmm
know that for a fact. You know what I'm saying? And it's called feed for a reason, right? What you feed into will continue to come up on your screen. You see what I'm saying? You have the capability to press that block button and ignore. Am I right? You can block a big
yes.
bang from coming up on your screen, right?
I mean, I'm not on my own
No.
account. On my kid's account, yes, right.
Yeah. Right.
So, however, right, and this is and because even in the last video I did when I talked about the U.S. House
Yeah.
passing that bill, the Reuters have reported that the CEO of what is it,
Dance
Byte
bite.
Dance. Dance Bite, right? He made the same argument you made that that U.S. was robbing the citizens of the of freedom of speech, right?
Freedom of speech.
I disagree. They're just saying you won't have well, one, two things, right? They're just saying divest it, hand over your U.S. assets to a U.S. company. So what that's not taking away their right to freedom of speech, and it's not taking away their voice. They can still speak if China agrees to hand that over to, or ByteDance or ByteDance, whatever, if they agree to hand over the assets to a U.S. owned company, right? They still
Right.
have that. They still got the voice, right? They can still do whatever, right? However, at that point in time, that algorithm will have to adhere to the U.S. based governance and policy. Now, I'm a governance guy, so
Yeah.
that's we talking about my lane now, to where there is no governance and policy controlling that, helping control that feed, right? Because there should be some level of censorship, which China, they know all about censorship. They don't have freedom of speech out there. You
Right.
get what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's ironic how the whole concept of freedom of speech gets thrown in to a company that's in China, a communist nation that does not have freedom of speech. We do. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
but even in that, there's layers of protection with governance and policies that are out there to regulate, to make sure we're doing our best to protect certain viewers. You get what I'm saying? We don't get that from TikTok, which is crazy, right? They protect, one, they control what they get to see out there, and they want to make sure their kids are educated. I gotta go back to the education part, right? Everyone on here right now, we've been recovering from what happens when you restrict a group of people from being educated, right?
Right.
So that's what's been, I feel like that's what's been happening with the US youth, is our adversary is using this platform. It's genius, right? If you think about it from their lens, if I'm them, I would do the same thing. Let me get them hooked on this app, right? Let me get them hooked. Let me get their kids hooked on it. Now let me just control what's going in their feed. I'm gonna make them think they controlling their feed, where they can swipe left, swipe right, block this and that, but I'm still gonna force feed it, right? Because I'm gonna keep it real. It's hard for me to not watch certain things that people put from TikTok on the YouTube, because I would not get on TikTok. But man, I'm hard pressed to believe that's not part of the overall strategy, right? And in my last video, I did say that all the future wars will be fought in cyberspace. So why will we not look at this as being one of the tactics used to plant themselves in their ideologies in our youth through the media? You know what I mean? Like, but then also too, if they want to have a voice, they got YouTube, Instagram, X, Facebook, all these other platforms that are there. And again, they have the option to sell the company if the Senate passes it, right? Because the Senate didn't even pass it yet. Senate still got to pass it. They can block it, if they want to, right? So it depends, right? But if the Senate passes the bill, Biden said he's gonna sign it, but then they get 6 months to sell it to a U.S. based company. So it's still, I don't think that they will, the youth will lose their voice. I know they're heated because it's the fear of the unknown, right? And they're like, hey, you might be the ones making money off of it. It might impact the pockets a little bit, but what's
It's gonna
worse, like,
impact more because you got to look at it like this. If you can make $100,000 a year without going to college?
Hmm.
Are you going to go and submit yourself to going to college where you probably are going to debt, which is how America become strong off of debt? Am I right?
Yep. We thrive off of that.
We thrive off of debt, right? So if you take and that's my thing. It's like these youngsters on YouTube, even myself. I mean, not just YouTube, TikTok, all these channels are finding different ways of making money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once, okay, let's say for instance, the ban happens, Biden signs it in, some unknown billionaire comes and buy it. Do you think they're gonna have regulations on there where where somebody on their platform can potentially make more than some of their children? And let's be honest. Which billionaire do you think will buy this company and not pimp it out? You know what I'm
Point.
saying? Think about it. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Oh, if I'm
And,
Elon Musk, I'm like, I'm buying it and I'll just merge it with X.
and I'm
Hey.
not trying to be funny. He might just do that. But then look at X. X right now is not really profiting as like
Nah,
Facebook and YouTube are, right?
nah,
Be-
nah.
because of the fact, and not trying to be funny, there's some real
And what
bad.
if Google bought it though? What if Google bought it?
If Google bought it,
Huh?
that's who
Huh?
I think. That's who I think will, or it's going to be a private company like
Real quick,
Universal Music.
Tim Dunham had made a comment. He said they are giving us something different than what they're
Well,
consuming, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. So
I agree.
we can't ignore that as well.
No,
You
we
know what I'm
can't.
saying?
We can't.
We
Because
cannot ignore that.
that's like a vegan person working at McDonald's. Let's
I
be
know,
honest.
right?
You know
Like,
what I'm
are you
saying?
really speaking?
You know
I
what I'm saying?
mean,
Because I mean, shoot, it's a but I get what you're saying. It's like why aren't their children using using this platform like our children are? Again, China is very restricted with their policies, right? Not only that,
very.
in their household, right? So if a kid had a TikTok and I mean, they couldn't I mean, their country couldn't allow them to do the things they do. If we're supposed to be the
Oh,
country of
they
freedom,
damn sure that watching what they watch. What they're not watching over there, but we're watching here. That's not
no,
happening. This is
no, they're
not
not.
going to grow their minds and educate their youth. They won't allow that. You know. And matter of fact, I lived in Asia for 2 years, dude. The reason why their youth tend to be more ahead of ours, educational wise, is dude, they do not mess around with education, man. Them kids are being schooled from at least 7 to 7, man. When I was in Korea, I'm coming home from the gym about 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. You see them kids just walking home from academy. Because after regular K through 12 school, they got to go to academy to make sure they are getting the proper education to be ready, right?
Right,
We not doing that. And then on top of that, we're allowing our adversaries to distract our kids. Because it's a double-edged sword, right? One, we're allowing that to distract our kids. Now, as the kids say, I stand on business with that. Um,
right.
but then at the same time, some of our kids are making money off of that. So it's like, which one is the lesser evil long term for the overall? You know what I mean? And I get it. Most people don't even care the long term well-being of our country. You know what I mean? Team Dunham got a couple of other things. The streaming
Yeah,
platform average payout is less.
I want to tap in on
Go
that.
ahead, you
So
take that. That's you. That's you. Go
yeah,
ahead.
so I know all about the streaming platforms when it comes to the music and everything, right? So I see
I
that,
think we gotta read his comment at least, though.
yeah, I'm about to.
I
I'm
think we
about to.
gotta read his comment and get that shit
Yeah.
right. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So streaming platform average payout, stream Spotify, right? 0.00318, right? And then he said they will not pay as well as soon as it is US owned. YouTube Music 0.002. Okay, he made a strong point. They will not pay as well as soon as it is
Yeah,
pay as
good
well
point.
as soon as it is US owned. Understand. Why? Because minimum wage is what it is right now, and motherfuckers can't live off of that. Excuse my language, right? Because I'm gonna keep it real. Now when it comes to the money, when it comes to the money, and it comes to the like music and all that
Yeah.
stuff, I totally understand that. That's why I always express three things when I talk to the younger generation. If you go get you a job, make sure you get a job not only with benefits but advantages. Like when I worked at Circuit
Yeah.
City, I didn't just work at Circuit City, I got an employee discount. So if the money that I was making there, I could be able to buy and then resell at a different way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you're going to go into the music industry, okay, cool. You can be able to go to YouTube, Spotify, Apple, but also create your own website so you can sell your merch and your information digitally.
Yeah.
Like as me as an
Yep.
artist, I haven't put no more music on there because of the fact that I know that now I have a fan base where I can be like, look, my album's coming out. Y'all buy it directly from me for $5 or however much you want. Because for me to be able
Yeah.
to sell, for me to be able to make $5, I gotta sell 15,000 songs to make $5, which
Yep.
is ridiculous. But that's how they look at these things as far as entertainment, as far as streaming platforms.
Hmm.
This is how the United States look at that.
Yeah.
They don't look
No, I
at it
get
as
that.
important. But however, there's people out there that when they're on a treadmill, they're either what? They're watching YouTube, watching TV, or listening to music, right?
Yeah.
All these platforms that support that, I mean all these people that are on these platforms, they get paid probably a quarter of what these people are doing. When
Yeah.
anybody in these top positions know that they don't pay entertainment well. However, entertainment is what thrives their day.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
No, it's crazy. Yeah. No,
And
I
and
get what you're saying.
and it's I mean, let's be honest. There was a big financial flaw for a lot of people. Let's say, when did TikTok come around? 2017, 2018?
When it took over musically, because it was musically
Right.
first, and they
Yeah.
took over musically. Yeah.
Right. And then that one guy who was, well, he was drinking an ocean spray and he was skateboarding and ended up getting like,
He blew up. Yeah.
he blew up, right? So people started thinking like, I can do it too. And they did. So they found a way to not cheat on taxes, not do three or four jobs that they don't like at one time, not,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, lie on their paperwork. They found a way, they found an outlet. If you not, and I'm being 100% honest. If anybody who think business first and creative second, they're gonna take that away or try to find a way to pimp it. And that's my whole thing. Like your boy said, YouTube music 0.002. The same
Yeah.
shit's gonna happen if another American company take over. You know what I'm saying? I see the YouTubes. Oh, I go viral on TikTok, I make $10,000. I go viral on YouTube, I
Yeah.
make $50,000. I get it, but back to, like you said, the security part. Ain't no risk without no reward. If you want this generation to be able to have a voice, because my thing is this: put it on the ballot. Put it on the ballot.
You make a good point with that one.
Because if you put it on the ballot, you guys stress about kids not voting. The younger generation don't tap in. You got 80-year-old people running for president that can't tap in with people that's 18 and 19 years old.
Good
Why? I
point.
mean, I mean,
Good
here's
point.
the thing. It's three generation gaps.
Yeah.
38, 58, 78. These these generations don't understand what Biden and Trump are talking about, right?
True. True.
Somebody is force feeding their information and they're getting it. But you take their TikTok away, put that. I mean, y'all not even giving it the option to put this shit on the ballot. Put it on the ballot. I guarantee you, the first president that says, okay, we're gonna go ahead and support TikTok and do X, Y, Z, A, B, and C. That's the person who's gonna win the election. You know why? They won't. People don't
They'll
turn
get
out
the
for primary. These
yeah.
people don't. They don't turn out for primary. They don't turn out for like. They don't go to cities. They don't. They don't. They're not tapped in to the things of what's going on in the economy. but you take away their voice, it's gonna be crazy. What is that? I read it the other day. Martin Luther King said something. A riot is the voice of the unheard. And I'm not talking about physically riot. I'm just saying
Mhm.
people are going to make some noise that's going to get this country uncomfortable.
Now, to your point, right? You just made a good point. I go back to psychological warfare. Genius on China's part. Now they got us fighting amongst ourselves, right? Let's pit generation against generation. They've gotten it to that point to what you just said. If that played out, we're in disarray. What do they do now? You feel me?
I get true.
Let's keep it real with the geopolitical stuff that's going on right now, right? We got so much stuff going on. They looking at Taiwan right now, right? Let's say it plays out like that, right? And we're in so much disarray because of that, with the misunderstanding between the generations, right? We trying to get a control of that. Perfect time for me. Let me go take Taiwan back real quick. US is distracted right now. Let's go get them. You feel me? Hey, I got my homies over there in Russia. Let me help them out too. They in disarray. They can't even control their own over there in the US. You know what I mean? Hey, what's popping? Hey, are we supporting them? Are we supporting Gaza? Let's help them out real quick. What's the US gonna do? They distracted right now. You get what I'm saying? Like, dude, they it was genius on China's part to get us to this point. Because what you just said, I believe you. It may pan out that way, right? But there's so much emphasis on the pay, the voice, all of that versus our own national security. You feel me? Um, that's my concern. To be real, I'm scared because it might pan out that way because we have no national pride. The youth is like, I don't care if China takes over. I want my TikTok. Give me my check. You know what I mean? Like straight up, what you just played out, and it's the same thing I'm hearing reverberating across the younger generation. You're taking away my voice. No, you're not. You just might have to rebuild on YouTube. The pay's not as well, but at least we can keep our freedom. You know what I mean? I don't want to be in a communist country. I like having my freedoms. You know what I mean? Is it
Right.
worth losing our way of life that we know it now? And it may not happen with our generation. The you play the long game, right? And China's been known and to be good at playing the long game. The way they took over the world economy with their industry, dude, they got the whole world relying on them. You know what I mean? Genius. That was a 40, 50-year long-term strategy they had. You know what I mean? Didn't happen overnight. So I agree with everything you said, but I think that was part of the plan. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which I think a lot of people don't even think about. Like now there's so much angst amongst ourselves. We're bickering amongst ourselves. Hey, we ain't even gotta fight them. It's just like um conversations in the black community, right? Let's get the black community to fight amongst themselves. They'll do the hard work for us. Same thing. Let's get the US fighting amongst themselves. We ain't even got to do much work. We just let them take each other out and then we'll just come in and take over.
So exactly, and unfortunately, that's exactly what it is. It's it's divide from within and take over. You know what I'm saying?
Divide and conquer, man. Hell of a
Divide.
strategy. Hell of a strategy, right? Because the youth are pissed. The younger generation is pissed. I get that,
Yeah.
right? But you know, it's a double-edged sword, man. I don't think. Well, in my opinion, the right answer is let's protect ourselves, right? Some people are gonna feel it financially, but
Mhm.
if I gotta choose a lesser evil, I would choose the financial hit, and so we can all keep our freedom. Because the same youth that are pissed that they might lose out on some money or another platform for their voice, or they gonna definitely be pissed if they gotta live under a communist structure. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Just keeping it real. And then if we get distracted to the point where China's like, let's go take Taiwan, what's going to happen with this whole AI arms race, right? Those are the ones that's providing us the silicon chips that we need. Like
Right.
that's a whole nother way to kind of like get an advantage. So it's
It's a
unfortunate,
lot.
man. It's a
Yeah,
lot
because
going on, man.
and then I mean, let's look at it too. as far as like the timing, we know that there's a lot of things going on in the world,
Mm-hmm.
right? But you take your eyes off of what's important to the world and just put the eyes on what's important to an individual. Like right now, there's a
That's
and
good.
I'm not switching gears. I'm pivoting, but I'm coming back. We know that a lot is going on with AI. Am I right?
Yep. Yep.
Like they just had Nvidia just had a bot like think 6 7 hours ago walk on stage as AGI. You know, I mean, what is it? No, GAI, AGI, one of the two. I just saw it. It was on my YouTube feed, and I was like, "Are you serious?" And I already knew this was coming because of the fact that once you got people hooked on AI, once all the big media is out there, artificial intelligence, this and that, and this and that, they're gonna try to man make it. AI is to make life simple, right? But you also have
Yep.
somebody to control it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start automating the controller,
Mm.
then you having a system ran by AI where it doesn't need people. And our generation don't care about that. Well, I ain't gonna say our generation. The generations under us don't care about that. They look at AI as like, oh, it's gonna help me get my YouTubes out faster. It's gonna help me get my videos out there faster, right?
Yeah.
But they stop from looking at that and looking at like what happens when my voice, and I say my voice because of the fact that TikTok is not just about the money. There's people out there that's reconnecting with family members. There's people out there that's reconnecting with friends that they never thought that they would be connected to. They have their own community. But
Yeah. Yeah.
you take away a lot of community, mental health rises, right? Because now people introverts kick back in, right? Extroverts, you know what I'm saying? They lost their tribe. Things like these things happen, but there's nothing in place for that. It's like, okay, we shut down TikTok. Boom.
Could we not just say, "Hey, tribe, TikTok might be shutting down. Come connect with me on YouTube." Can Is that not a possibility?
That's a possibility. That is a strong possibility. And I don't see why they won't. But the fact is, they may not use it because look at Facebook, right? We're on Facebook and Instagram, TikTok. Well, you're not on TikTok, LinkedIn,
I'm
X,
not
all
thinking
the other places, right? to
everything else. Yeah.
the generation under us, which is the 25 and 30-year old, they look at Facebook like that's my
That's
parents'
for the
social
old
media,
people. That's the old
right?
people. Yeah.
It, and for the most part, there is, you know what I'm saying. But every generation had their thing, except for the generations that's making these laws to ban them. They didn't have a Black Planet. They didn't have a MySpace. What they had was after school hangout
Let's
programs.
keep it real. They wasn't getting on Black Planet anyway. Let's
They
keep it
wasn't.
real.
They was not. They was not. They
I get what
still
you're saying, though. I get what you're
right.
saying. I just think it's
So
really just move, right? Like, um, just move the community, man. I mean, worst case, the money won't be the same, right? I think we established that. We know that, right?
yeah,
But it's something is better than nothing. You know what I mean? The voice will still be there. You just gotta just use a different platform. I get it. No one wants to do it, but it's just definitely just crazy times right now, man.
I'm trying to think. Okay, so if let's say if TikTok came out in 2000, I mean TikTok the way the platform is 2018, right? And then that's 6 years ago, right?
Mhm.
Think of a 6-year-old kid. You take their toy away and you give them some other toy. They're gonna be like, I don't want that shit. Give me back my toy that I had. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
That's their
I mean, we
mindset.
we from the old school. There, I'm just like, hey man, you ain't gonna have no toy then. At
Yeah,
least you get a toy or something.
right. And then
But you
when
know
they
what?
get go ahead.
But you just pointed out is something else that we got a bad problem with too is entitlement. Where are the entitlement here is you is bad. Bad
Yeah,
entitlement. It's very bad. Because I that's my takeaway from what you just said. What you said is true, but I think it just comes down to entitlement. I'm
right.
entitled to have this, but can't have entitlement without having freedom. You get what I'm saying? Because
Well, if
let's
that's the
not
case,
let's
bro, we
not pretend that freedom is not at stake here, man. Just keeping it 100.
no, no. And so then if we're gonna go
That's
that route, then we gotta look at we gotta look like if I can't have my president, then I'm entitled to have what I want and what I say. Cause I promise you, everything is gonna come down to the powers that be.
yeah,
It's
yep,
gonna. I mean, think about it. They like like real talk. If somebody bans something from doing it, but they have that mechanism in their head that's already been triggered, right? The
yeah,
dopamine. You get that triggered at a certain age where you're not mature enough to be able to think logically and gotta have it. They're gonna find a way to get it
yeah,
or get the satisfaction. And unfortunately, if they don't get it the way they want, when they want it, how they want, it's gonna cause chaos.
yeah. I can see that. It's hey man, it's like we said, man. Data is the new crack. They
New
addicted
crack.
to it right now. You know
Yep.
what I mean? They like, I gotta have my TikTok, man. I gotta get my TikTok,
And
man.
what?
Hey man, hey, I'm
AI
gonna
is
do
the
some
new
strange
AI is
things
the
to
new
get my
plug.
TikTok.
I'm saying
And AI is the
it's the new
plug.
plug.
No,
AI is the
man,
plug.
it's no. You're right. You're right. Unfortunately, man. It's maybe. How about if the Senate passes it, right? Because it was still an if, and I'm not rich, which means I can't get rich off the ifs. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Right.
if the Senate passes it, El Presidente signs it, right?
Hmm.
If that happens, maybe whatever company is entertaining buying it, maybe they should have the younger an advisory panel full of the younger generations to help with that structure. So that
I
way, not
agree.
all is lost. I vote for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I
then,
vote for
because
that
I
too.
mean, my voice don't matter in it because I don't rock with TikTok like that. You know what I mean?
Well, right, right. But let me ask you this: would you if they did?
If we went in that scenario,
Yeah.
yeah, I would use it. The only reason why I don't use it is when I found I got so I to confession time. I used it briefly for a little while until I found out it was owned by China. And I'm gonna tell you what, I was hitting the short amount of time I was using it, it was hitting. I was like, and then when I found out China owned it and then all the risk associated with it, I was like, man, I don't want to lose this, but with my background, I ain't want the cybersecurity community, intel community calling me out like, hey, how you call yourself a U.S. cyber professional, knowing you're using a app that's a known threat? I had to let it go. You know what I mean? But
Yeah. Plus,
if
they banned it on
in that
all
scenario
governmental.
it gets divested and I know a U.S. company owns it and all the data is stored in the U.S., I would get on it. I would get on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I
something to
would.
think about. Well, hopefully the right people see this feed so they can be able to jump on that because real talk. I mean, I understand like America has a big problem, extremely big problem with identity theft, cybersecurity, the whole nine, right?
Yep. Yep.
And these corporations, like especially one that I used to be tied to, right, get hacked every. It seemed like they got hacked every 6 months. Like
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what? What is wrong? Like, and yet it's like when you go to do business with them, they require for you to get a copy of your ID.
Yeah.
Oh, you want this new iPhone for free that we about to put it with? You got to give me your ID so I can make a copy. I just read online you guys been data breached like for the 15th time,
Yep.
right? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But people want what they want.
They want what they want. You right.
Now, you know what I'm saying? And it's like instant gratification. Like I said, that dopamine trigger
That
kicks in.
dopamine.
People gonna get what they want. Now, I truly believe you made a strong point. If the American billionaire who buys it and backed by a couple American billionaires, um, buy it and let the generation who has the knowledge of because there's flaws in TikTok. There's millions of
Yeah.
flaws. There's people who on there who have like I have about I mean 2,200 followers, 2,200 plus followers, and only maybe 300 of my posts get viewed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And and on my feed, some of the stuff keep repeating. Those are things that can be fixed by people who are in that tech industry that are American, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Algorithms are nothing but AI audiences. Real talk. AI gets the data, and they see what they like. They see what that's triggering that instead of the swipe going up in 2 or 3 seconds, they stand on there for 7 or 8. Oh, boom! We're gonna feed them that. We get an American team that be able to do it. A young American team. I'm talking about 30 and under, right? Those
Yeah,
that can
yeah,
relate to
yeah.
both generations, the 30 and 45 year olds on TikTok, and some of the seniors that's on TikTok that do it because of the fact that it's tied to their Amazon selling account, and then the young generation that's doing it because they need a way of an escape. Because to them, they like, I get this TikTok for free.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Then you have a different ball game. Because let's think about it. I mean, American. I go back to the fact that there's a big disconnect for those people who are in office and those
I
people
agree.
who
I
the
agree.
decisions
Yeah.
that they make of who they affect.
And you know what? Bring me on as a consultant for the security side. You know what I mean? Not for a nominal fee billionaire that buys it. You feel me? But
Yeah,
I will throw this out there too. Everything you said, I'm gonna add this layer of protection too. We need some young DevSec ops people on there because I'm gonna need some developers that could look at the source code to make sure there's nothing in that code that's siphoning data through a backdoor back to China. You feel me?
right,
Like everything you said, but I'm gonna need me some savvy young DevSec ops folks that can make sure that the code that comes with that is not laced with backdoors, man. And then I'm confident, like, okay, we're good. You know, because I'm gonna need them added layers of protection. I know we rely on the cloud, and I'm pretty sure a lot of that stuff is relying on the cloud as well.
yeah,
Don't know who. I don't know if Team Dunham knows what cloud provider um TikTok and them is using, but nah, I'm gonna need. Matter of fact, I would even request that I need a testimonial from the DevSec ops team that's gonna review that source code to let Congress know we're good. I need a detailed report to Congress detailing specifically how the source code that comes with that is safe. I'm
right.
Gucci, baby. Let's go. You know what I mean? Maybe I could get my TikTok on. You feel me?
Hey, my whole thing is this: there got to be a common ground. If
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
common
yeah.
ground, then by all means, let's make it work. Don't just, I
Let's
mean,
make
you
it
can,
work, man.
yeah,
And young
because
people speak. I mean, at one thing, at least there's something that happened that actually provoked the youngins to speak up, right? Um, but I think what we need to do as the older generations to help kind of give that, like, speak up. Yes, I'm with it. Everything you said, in addition to let's be safe with it too, because I would hate for it to just come over and we get a bad source code that's still siphoning that data back, because it happens. You know what I mean? So
I'm gonna
no,
tell you what,
if we were, hey, like I said, hit us up, y'all.
yeah,
Representatives, holler at us. Senate, holler at us. You know what I mean? We
yeah,
can,
for
for
real,
a nominal fee, give you some good consulting.
exactly,
We got Team Dunham that got some vulnerability management skills on here as well. Hit us up. We'll help you out.
exactly. And I could be the PR, public relations, because I have a hand in knowing how to talk to the young generation for you guys, and also, you know what I'm saying? I'm a TikToker, Corey Giovanni, TikTok.
Hey,
You know what I'm saying? Tap
hey.
me in. And my TikTok shop, Mr. Good Deals. That's GOULD deals. Let's
Nice.
go.
I
You know what I'm
like it.
saying?
I like it. I'm just here on YouTube. So just a Tech Von Go. I'm right here. If you're watching this, I got a little link on the page too you could check out. But hey, good convo, man. Let's keep it going. Some good stuff. Team Dunham, thanks for joining us. Looks like someone else joined. I don't it's not showing me the name, but whoever you are, thanks for showing up. Um
That's a
and to
TikToker.
be continued. It's a TikTok. Hey, good chat, man. Hey,
Same
we'll
TikTok.
keep doing
Hashtag
this,
same
man.
TikTok. For sure,
All
big
right,
dog.
man.
Hey, but look, I do want us to keep this conversation going. And
Yeah,
also,
definitely.
those who, you know what I'm saying, those who may see this later on, y'all chime in next Wednesday, right?
Next Wednesday. Every Wednesday to 12:30 Central Standard Time. I think it's 10:30 Pacific
10:30
Standard
Pacific
Time.
Standard Time.
What's
Yeah,
that? 1:30 Eastern Standard Time, because Team Dunham is on the East Coast.
right.
But yeah, check in with us. We'll keep this conversation going because we got some good perspectives too, man. And yeah, chime in. Let us know what you think in
Yeah,
the comments. Doesn't matter. Keep it as respectful as possible because I'm here for the smoke.
please.
I'll clap back if you come at me. So
There you go. You know what I'm saying? I'm with the smoke. All the smoke.
I'm with it.
Smoke.
And
Yeah.
good stuff though, man. Hey, you be safe out there, man. Everybody else be
Likewise,
safe.
man. I holler at you guys.
All right, man. I'll check back in with you later, man. Peace.
Peace.